This is A-Game. Fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on SHEEPSTAYSLEEPTV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love. And we back with another video. And in this video, I want to speak on the whole legendary myth about Pookie and RayRay that everyone's just seem to you just can't leave that alone. You know, it's so alluring to a lot of guys. You know, this stigma of the quote unquote thug guy, the street guy, the block guy, the block hugger, little loud pack, and Pookie and RayRay. So let's talk about how Pookie and RayRay is actually made, because you do know Pookie and RayRay had parents, right? You do know that, right? Pookie and RayRay had parents. You know, Pookie and RayRay wasn't born Pookie and RayRay. They actually was born from a mother and a father, and was born into a group of people who actually failed those men in a lot of instances than you think. Now, why am I saying this? Why are you saying this, DS1? I'm saying this because when you have a family who doesn't understand the 10 life values, or don't even understand the concept or the importance of having values, this is what creates the dysfunction. Because Black people, we do not value our family. Our family or our families are in shambles because we do not value each other. So when a young Black boy is born into a family, now what is your family? Your family is who you are connected to and have a relationship with. So if you a young Black boy and you're growing up in a family where the relationship and the connection is broken, is dysfunctional, it's toxic, it's abusive, in return, you have a people who are practicing a lost value system. So when that happens, there is no love and support from the family. There are no loving people there to produce the proper children or the proper adults that those children will grow into. See, the reason why there's a lot of depressed Black men, stressed Black men who suffer from rage, is because a lot of us were abandoned. And see, abandonment starts here in the family. So when you speak on a Pookie and a RayRay, Pookie and RayRay come from a family who don't love each other. This is how a Pookie and a RayRay is created. So he may have been born Terrell, but later on they started calling him Pookie because of the dumb shit he liked to do outside in the streets. But see, Pookie liked to do dumb, outlandish shit in the streets because Pookie needs attention. Because Pookie didn't receive attention from his parents because his parents were too busy getting drunk and fighting each other. That's why Pookie gets drunk and likes to show off in front of people. You see? You have to understand, Pookie and RayRay had parents. You have to understand how these caricatures are created. We can't just sit here and keep labeling black men things and don't understand how these labels came about. Why would you call a black man a Pookie? What qualifies him to be a Pookie? See, the things that y'all talk about on here is superficial bullshit. And y'all are actually using female talking points to judge a man. Because what qualifies a man is not his job title, is not his income. See, those qualifications are determined by women. They say, oh, well, you're man enough for me because of those things. You see? So this is why I'm speaking on this, because a lot of you brothers use these female identifiers and try to use it on men when y'all are men. As men, we are supposed to think higher than that. We're supposed to think above that. Do you really know any dudes named Pookie? Because I do. And what I do is I sit back and I study behavior. And I know why most Pookies act the way they act. I know why, because I grew up with them. And a lot of them grew up in abusive households. There's a lot of alcoholism in Pookie's house. There's a lot of arguing and gambling and hustling around Pookie in Pookie's house. That's why Pookie sit around and play the game and smoke weed. Because growing up, he used to walk in the living room, and that's what his uncles used to do while his uncles was busting plays at the door. You see? So Pookie come from a dysfunctional family. And you know his mother had to be dysfunctional because she allowed her brothers to be hustling in her house, because obviously she was getting a cut out of it. So Pookie and RayRay they had parents, and they come from dysfunction. They don't have any love and support. Now let's get into RayRay. Now, RayRay come from the house where his mama's on dope, and his daddy is probably either her pimp and her dope dealer, or he outside running the streets, catching cases and having more children while slinging dope. See, that's RayRay. That's RayRay's household. That's most of your dudes that's running the streets, gorilla pimping, robbing. He's a stick-up kid. He kicking doors in. See, RayRay comes from direct physical abuse, where Pookie, he may have more of the emotional and verbal abuse, where RayRay is getting beat. RayRay getting beat with sticks. RayRay is not eating every day. This is RayRay. This is the family of RayRay. This is where RayRay come from. Perfect example of Pookie and RayRay is the relationship on Baby Boy between Tyrese and his best friend P. Now P was RayRay. Now look at how P lived his life. P was illiterate. He had to learn how to read in jail. He was all about hustling and gang banging. He didn't have no parents. His parents was strung out. His father was in prison, got killed. That's RayRay. That's P from Baby Boy. Baby Boy was a direct depiction of Pookie. That's who Tyrese was depicting. Pookie, Baby Boy. Tyrese in that movie was Pookie, and his best friend was RayRay. You see, they both came from dysfunctional homes. They both came from a messed up family. A family of what? No love and support. Because the parents practiced a lost value system, where they were caught up in the era where it was about, let's get that money. Let's get that street money. That's why Tyrese's mama always was caught up with street dudes, because she grew up in that time. And she didn't realize that would mess up her family. You see, it got her first son killed in the streets. See, Tyrese's brother was a RayRay. You see? So what she do? She babied and coddled Tyrese, made him a baby boy, a Pookie. But this is all coming from her dysfunctions, coming from her and his father's dysfunctions. Because remember, Tyrese pops left. He was in jail. If I'm not mistaken, he was in jail, or either he got killed. But if I'm not mistaken, Tyrese pops was in jail because his brother got killed from her first relationship. So if you go back and you watch that movie, that's the perfect depiction of Pookie and RayRay. And as you can see, the women that he chose liked Pookies and RayRays. You see? So stop thinking that these men who you label Pookie and RayRay are just like that out of nowhere. No, they were created that way, man. And Pookie and RayRay is not always determined by their environment. So don't think because you grow up in the hood, because a lot of you dudes grew up in the hood too. That don't make you a RayRay. That don't make you a Pookie. What makes you a Pookie and RayRay is when the family value is non-existent. When there's no love and support from the people you are connected to and should have a relationship with. That's when you get the dysfunction in black men that you see today, that we want to call Pookie and RayRay. So shout out to all of the visionaries. Salute to the A Game family. Shout out to the A Game Nation. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on SheepStaySleepTV. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.
Believe me, I will be the greatest
testosterone
producer that God ever created, and I mean that.
Sorry!
This is A Game. Fast acting, long lasting, with no side effects.